Hello all, welcome back to Answer Writing Initiative at 9 p.m. I'm Guna Mathivanan from Offices IAS Academy. Friends, if you are watching this video series for the first time, then please watch my first video in this answer writing playlist to know how to participate in this initiative. Right? The initiative is open to all, anybody can participate. But first watch the first video in this playlist to get an idea on how to submit your answers, etc. So the question which I gave yesterday is regarding the women reservation. So what is the question? Despite significant strides in various fields, the political representation of women is very low in India. What are the factors contributing to that underrepresentation? To what extent how this women reservation bill will address this issue? Right? So introduction. Don't think too much for introduction. The question itself will give you a lead for introducing the answer. So here it is clearly given, despite significant strides in various fields. So that can be your first part of introduction. So you can say that Indian women have achieved various high positions in fields like research, marketing, entertainment, etc. But however, their representation in politics in India is very low. Support this argument with a fact that in Lok Sabha we have roughly just 15% of women representation. In the legislative assemblies in most of the states, only 10% of MLAs are women. So the representation is very low. You are supporting your argument with a fact. This much is sufficient. 15 marker, write 3 lines of introduction is sufficient. And from there we have to go to the next part of the answer. So analyze the factors contributing to the underrepresentation. So list out the factors. These are the factors. Point number 1, patriarchy. This patriarchy is setting up this male domination. Patriarchy is setting up some cultural expectation. It is imposing some cultural expectation on women. It is expecting the women to perform expressive roles like taking care of husband, taking care of children, taking care of the elderly. So in this backdrop, the women education, women health, women skill development, women's financial autonomy, for these areas priorities were not given. Priorities were given only for performing expressive roles. Right? So this is one limiting factor. Since there is there is no awareness, there is no much skills, there is no much exposure, then women feel reluctant to participate in politics. That is one limiting factor, right? And you can mention about this dynasty politics. So already the dynasty politics is a limiting factor for others to come and participate, and it is obvious factor which is limiting the women to enter into politics. Apart from that, we can mention about the environment for women. Like we see a lot of violence, sexual harassment against women in general. That itself is limiting women to come out of their homes, right? And that is also one of the greatest limiting factor to come out of the home and participate in politics. Another point you can say, even if they enter into politics, despite of all these limiting factors, they are not given leadership roles. Even inside the political party, they are asked to perform expressive roles. Leadership roles are not given, right? So all these are demotivating factors, limiting factors, which prevents the women to enter into politics. Okay, next part. To what extent, in your opinion, the recently passed women reservation bill will address this issue? In your opinion, please don't write that in my opinion. Don't start in that manner. Though it is asked you to explain your opinion, but don't start saying that, okay, in my opinion, this is good, this is bad. Don't try to explain in that manner. So, to what extent, in your opinion, the recently passed women reservation bill will address this issue? What is the issue? Under representation of women in politics. That is the issue. So, how women reservation bill can address this issue? All right. So, you can extend. So, you are giving the factors which are limiting. Then you can come up with a link line saying that in this backdrop, the recently passed 106th constitutional amendment regarding women reservation will help us addressing this issue of underrepresentation of women in following ways. You can say first point, you can say 33% of reservation will ensure assured 180 around 180 seats for women in Lok Sabha. Similarly, in respective assemblies, legislative assemblies as well. So there is going to be assured space for women. So the representation is going to definitely increase through this one stroke. And this increased representation, when there are more number of women legislators, then there will be more number of gender sensitive policies, gender sensitive measures. Efforts will be seriously taken to reduce the violence against women, harassment against women. So this will motivate the women to come out and participate in politics. More number of seats in Lok Sabha, more number of seats in assemblies, more number of seats in local bodies. So that is incentivizing the women, because there's an assured seats which is reserved, will motivate them to come and participate. The gender sensitive policies will help them to overcome the burdens which they usually see in the society. Role model effect, by looking at more number of women politicians, women ministers, women MPs, women MLAs, women mayors. So that is going to give a role model impact, and many women will come forward to take politics as a career option. Right? See, initially, the reception, that participation might be less, but eventually the women participating in the politics will be normalized. So in these aspects, this women reservation bill is definitely going to address this issue. However, here we can go to conclusion, finally go for conclusion. However, there are some systemic challenges at grassroots level. What is a systemic challenge? Patriarchy is so deep rooted. In family, patriarchy is deep rooted. In society, patriarchy is deep rooted. In any organization, this male domination is deep rooted. Even in political parties, we see patriarchy deep rooted. So, the systemic challenge has to be addressed. This patriarchy has to be uprooted first. And this process cannot be brought with one law or with one sectors, or this particular reform, that particular reform in the attitude of the society, family, uprooting the patriarchy. So this requires participation from various stakeholders of society. One law cannot change, a political party cannot bring change, a government cannot bring change. The change should come from the people. We need a people movement. We need Jan Andolan. We need people's movement, right? To uproot this patriarchy, to uproot this social evil, to remove this male domination, to really empower women. What we need is a people's movement. This women reservation bill is a welcome step. We have to appreciate, we have to cooperate. At the same time, we have to change the attitude of society for the complete success of this women reservation bill. This much conclusion you don't write. I'm just explaining the essence. That's all. Very simple question, simple answer. So yes, I have given the introduction here. Then I have given the factors contributing to the underrepresentation of women. I have given 5 points. Then in this backdrop, the recently passed women reservation bill can address the issue of underrepresentation in the following ways. Again, I have given 5 points. Then followed by that, I am giving you a conclusion. Make it as a people's movement to uproot all these social evils. Right? Very simple, but effective. Don't complicate your answers. I was going through your answers. Many of you have not addressed this first line in your introduction. This part you have not addressed, despite significant strides in various fields. The intro mentioned that yes, women have achieved in research field, in business field, entertainment field, etc. Mention that one line you can mention. All right. So then you can go with the political representation is very low. Come up with some facts. Most of the students have written this part really well. That is factors contributing to the underrepresentation of women. Most of them have done it well. But from here, there was so much of deviation. From here, there is so much of deviation. Many started writing about significance of this bill. Many started explaining about this bill. The question is how this can address the issue. What is the issue? Underrepresentation. How it can address, list out. Then give a brief conclusion. Right? So yes, Annapurni. So you in no particular order I have arranged the answers. So Annapurni, you have done well. So yes, you have given a brief introduction. Intro is good. You have mentioned about the challenges in women's political representation. Always try to use the words, keywords mentioned in the question. Okay, don't come up with your own subheadings. Please use the keywords mentioned in the question. Look at the subheading which I have given. So here, factors contributing to the underrepresentation of women. That is what is also factors contributing to the underrepresentation of women. That is what is mentioned in the question. So try to repeat the key phrases, key terms mentioned in the question as subheadings. Okay. So, but yes, you have mentioned about the challenges. You have mentioned about the what is the how women reservation bill can address the problem you have mentioned. But however, you have explicitly said, in my opinion, that you can please avoid. Right, how this bill will increase political representation, women's leadership, it will break stereotypes, it can constitutionally empower women. All those points are fine. Then you have quoted about what Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has said, and conclusion is also fine. But what is the problem in your answer? See, you have to utilize the space properly, right? So your font size is in such a way that it makes your answer look more denser, right? And that results in more empty space at your third page. Ensure that you are filling all the three pages. Your word limit is also exceeded. It is very clearly visible that you have written more than 250 words. Okay, that you slightly reduce, you can do well. So this, Annapurni, yes, you have done well. Then Pavitra, yes, introduction is good, precise introduction. You have given the reasons for underrepresentation. Yes, you have also given how women reservation bill will address this issue. Yes, your presentation is neat, your points are good. Okay, you have given way forward, you have also given conclusions. Right, your answer is neat, your answer is actually hitting the question. Your answer is neat, Pavitra. Right, so next one. So not able to, Sridhar, yes, you can slightly improve your handwriting, Sridhar. India is expected to be the third largest economy by 2030. How this first point is relevant to the question? Leaving that first point, from second point, the introduction is good. Factors contributing, yes, exactly, you have used the phrase in the question in the subheading. So yes, patriarchal society, social norms, lack of access, limited violence, harassment, unequal opportunity, right, structural impediments, everything is fine. So how reservation can address this underrepresentation? Yes, your subheading is good. So the points are also neat. All right, in way forward, women reservation bill made India 64th nation to reserve seats for women. Implementation of this will also lead to achieving 50% of women representation in further years. Okay, okay, that's okay. We can also follow the conclusion what we have given, but okay, it's fine. But your first line of the introduction, that looks a little unnecessary for this particular question. Okay, then Home Sneha, your handwriting is very neat. I hope you are able to maintain speed as well. Introduction is fine. India ranked 140th according to the UN report on women in politics. The disproportionate representation of women political forum, everything is fine, but you could have also mentioned about this particular first line, despite significant strides in various fields. Just mention that women in India have started achieving higher positions in various fields like 1, 2, 3. Right? However, when it comes to politics, the representation is very low. That one additional line introduction could have made more difference. Factors contributing, yes, you have given the important factors, right? And you have mentioned about issues in local bodies. You're talking about the concept of sarpanchpati, that is the women, the seats reserved for women. Of course, women candidates are contesting, but it is the husband of that particular woman candidate or father of the woman candidate, they actually go and do all the executive activities. They are mentioning it here. Okay, so that is an issue where women is represented, but they are not allowed to exercise the power properly, right? This is an issue which you can bring it to conclusion. Already we have reservation in local bodies, women representation increased, however, who is actually executing the powers? Who is executing the powers? It is the husband of the sarpanch or father of the sarpanch. That is what you are trying to highlight here. This you can bring it to conclusion, don't bring it here. Okay, so significance of the bill, yes, you have see, don't say significance of the bill, all your points are correct. Tell that how this bill can address the issue. Your points are correct, but subheading was wrong. By looking at the subheading, that can give a wrong impression and I can reduce marks. So please, if you are not able to create proper subheadings, take clue from the question itself, that is better, right? Then everything is fine. Then Aravind, yes, your introduction is fine. Factors for underrepresentation of women is also fine. Yes, you have given the link line. Challenges is fine. But again, okay, this helps to address the challenges in following ways. Okay. Look at your conclusion. Everything is fine. India's decision could inspire other countries to adopt such measures, improving the status of the women. Right? Achieving inclusive development, reducing inequality, crime, discrimination. Again, I will not reject your conclusion, but you can also come up with little better conclusions. Right? Talk about effective implementation of this reservation bill. Right? Definitely, India will be inspiring, no doubt. But more than that, at this point, we should talk about effective implementation of this bill. That can be your conclusion. Then, Kritika, see, even you have directly went to the political aspect. Women representation in politics is low. You have directly went to that area. You could have also mentioned the first part, despite significant strides in various fields. That various fields can be an introduction, right? Apart from that, yes, you did well. The Constitutional 128 Amendment Bill passed recently seeks to reserve, yes. However, the effectiveness will depend on. See, the question is how this reservation bill can address the issue. You are talking about the effectiveness of the reservation bill, but the question is how this reservation bill can solve the issue. This effectiveness, this entire part, you should talk in conclusion. Reservation bill aims to secure these many seats in Lok Sabha, in legislative assemblies, right? And this can improve the political participation of women through role model effect. All those you can explain. Then you can say, however, there are many challenges. The effectiveness of the reservation bill based on these factors. So you have explained conclusion in much detail. That is the problem in your answer, right? Then the number of women in politics in India are not promising. Women hold okay. Challenges faced. Again, see, instead of saying challenges, you please mention that there is, these are the factors. What are the factors contributing to the underrepresentation? Your subheading is little, uh, that can be improved. Just mention the factors. These are the factors. Right, patriarchy, harassment, discrimination, everything fine. Despite these challenges, there are some positive developments. The question is not talking about positive. You need not give about positive developments. Right? See, here there is complete deviation. From this part, you are completely deviating from the demand of the question. Right? Then you are coming to the women reservation bill. It was introduced, passed in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, waiting for President's assent. All this information is not required and President gave the assent. It is no more 128th Constitutional Amendment Bill. Now it is 106th Constitutional Amendment Act. All this information, don't expose yourself. These are not required. Features of the bill, not required. Advantage of the bill, not required. You have started well, but from there is complete deviation, right? So yes, I have not mentioned your name, but the concerned person should be knowing whose answer is this. Others, please make a note. Please don't deviate. Stick on to the demand of the question. Clear? So I hope the discussion was useful. So the question for today. So day 8 question. While India has attained the distinction of being a net food exporter, the decreasing soil fertility emerges as a substantial challenge to its food security. Discuss the factors contributing to soil fertility degradation in India and enumerate the measures taken by the government to address this issue. 150 marks, 15 marks, 250 words. Friends, again, read the question twice, understand the demand of the question, create a thought framework. This will be my intro, this will be my subheadings, decide the subheadings, and plan your conclusion. Introduction and conclusion, don't think too much. If you are not able to come up with introduction conclusion, take the clue from the question itself. Okay, decide subheadings. That is very, very important, right? So today is Thursday. So next we'll be meeting on Monday. I hope the initiative is useful, right? So see you on Monday with another question and discussion for this question. Till then, bye. Take care.